Hey everyone, Maz here, and I'm back with my man Foch. Foch, what are we doing today?
Today we're smoking the Oliva Serie V Melanio Edición Año.
Ooh, a limited edition.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get into it.
Maz, why don't we start with a toast?
I'm always up for a toast. What are we toasting to?
How about to those guys, to our subscribers?
I mean, I'll always toast to our subscribers. Yeah. Here's
Salud.
to you. Salud. 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 You always know the right thing to say.
I try.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Showing some respect and some love for the subscribers.
Well, without them, we'd be...
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd be an unknown.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. You just, be slinging cigars.
Slinging cigars.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Now you're like quasi social media mogul.
Nah.
That's what I heard. I don't know. I heard you got a following. That's what I heard. With people coming in, taking pictures with you. Right?
From all over.
Yeah. We talked about it before. Big in Africa.
Big in Africa. I told you that.
Again, another shout out to Africa.
Yeah. That's right.
Right? You got to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Good?
Yeah.
What do I do with this hand?
That doesn't matter.
No, this hand, because the heart.
Okay.
Heart.
Okay.
All right?
All right. A little strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Right? You like that? Gladiator?
I love that movie.
By the way, speaking of love, what do you think of that cigar?
This is a great cigar. I mean, when it first came out, which was not too long ago.
Sure.
I mean, what? Within last 6 months?
Yes.
Obviously, I love the V.
Yep.
But this particular cigar here,
Yep.
it's more refined than the V. I think it's like a cross between the Melanio and the V.
Interesting. Well, the shape is, obviously. It's
And I love the shape, you know that.
Big ring gauge, 5.5 by 60.
Mm-hmm.
The Melanio series is all pressed, whether it's the natural or the Maduro. This happens to have the same wrapper as the natural.
Yeah, Sumatra.
Sumatra wrapper, Nicaraguan filler binder. But it definitely smokes different in a round.
Yeah.
And it definitely smokes different in a bigger ring gauge. So it's interesting that you feel like you think it's a kind of a cross.
So I think it's like a cross. I mean, because the regular V, the one that I love,
Yeah, the original.
the original.
Yep.
It does have, and we talked about this. I don't want to use the word harsh, but it's aggressive.
Yeah, in a good way.
Right.
It's okay.
We said that before in a good way, and I like that.
Yeah.
And it's strong. It's got some body to it. So this particular one though is very smooth right off the get go.
Yeah, I think it sits at medium body.
Yeah, it's definitely not strong.
Yeah, but and I like we talk about Sumatra wrapper, how in our opinion it plays well with many tobaccos, but especially Nicaraguan tobacco. But yeah, I think this cigar definitely gets out of its own way. There's a lot of like nuanced flavor in there. It really shows off the Sumatra wrapper because I think the blend itself, especially in this format, is not very intense. Do you find that the larger ring gauges, the perception is that it hits your palate differently, as opposed to a smaller ring gauge?
I think it definitely does. I think obviously the bigger the ring gauge, I think the cooler the cigar smokes.
100%.
So, it might, not might, but it definitely smokes less powerful than a thinner ring gauge cigar.
Right.
I think the thinner ring obviously will be more condensed.
Right.
So it'll hit the palate differently and it'll be more, strong.
Right. Yeah, I think that when you have a larger ring gauge, it definitely smokes cooler. And I think in the very beginning, it could come off as a less intense experience as opposed to a cigar of the same blend in a smaller format. But, I think the manufacturers do a really good job to blend cigars at all different sizes. And obviously they accommodate the ring gauge, obviously how much tobacco, whether it's Ligero, Viso, Seco, in a blend to obviously make it consistent.
Right.
But I think just by sheer size and format, it hits the palate in a different way.
Yeah, I agree.
And it gives it a unique experience. So, obviously the Melanio doesn't come in this size traditionally, so this limited edition is a nice treat, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to see, once we get another inch in, to see how the strength changes and the flavor changes.
Yeah, because it's a limited edition and it's fairly new. I haven't smoked many of them. Obviously,
Yeah, me neither.
When we were first introduced to them, when we first got them in, I obviously wanted to try it because
Right.
I wanted to know what it was, what it had. But I remember obviously liking it a lot.
Me too.
And now that I'm smoking it, recency bias, I'm like, man, this cigar is better than I remember it being. And, so sometimes you have to go to the well a couple times for a cigar to really resonate with
Right.
you. And this cigar is resonating with me right now. I mean, it's burning like perfect. And for a big ring gauge, sometimes because the ash is so heavy because of the ring size, a lot of times it'll want to fall on you.
Right.
This is a pretty firm ash. I know you were already ash.
Yeah, I ashed
And I'm going
once.
to ash now because obviously I don't want to get it all over myself. But the construction of the cigar, which you would imagine Oliva's obviously going to put their best people on the job when it comes to rolling a special edition cigar. But yeah, no, I think it's a nice treat. I'm thoroughly
Well, I'm
enjoying
definitely
it.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
The one thing that we talk about with a Sumatra wrapper is spice, which I'm not really getting a lot of in this particular cigar.
I think it's
Slight, but
It's
it's
subdued.
not. Yeah, it's definitely subdued, but it's not bold and in your face. You know?
Yeah. Well, and think about it. If you want to come up with something that's a limited special edition, you want to tweak it a little bit because you want it to stand on its own. And I think that Oliva does a great job with that every year with this project that they do. And I think there's a lot of manufacturers that do the same. And when they come up with a limited edition, it's different. And speaking of limited edition, 10,000 boxes. 10,000 boxes were made for the U.S. market, and the rest went international. But I think, when you're coming up with something that's going to be, a limited edition special, it should be different. And I think, they do a great job. Oliva does a great job of kind of tweaking the blend a little bit. So it definitely does hit differently, even with the same wrapper variety, Sumatra wrapper. To me, it's very subtle. The earthiness and spiciness I get from Sumatra wrapper, it's there, but to me, there's tobacco in there. Like it's got a very kind of aromatic note. This tobacco, and it has, like I said, nuttiness. There's a light roast coffee, which normally from the Serie V Melanio.
I get a lot of caramel.
Yeah. I didn't really get into that yet, but like the Serie V Melanio Maduro, it's like to me, is chocolatey and coffee. The Serie V original to me is very coffee forward, a dark roast coffee. This is kind of light roast, but yeah, it's got a lot of pleasant kind of sweet notes. That's what when I was saying, you said caramel, which you might have nailed it. It has a very aromatic tobacco taste to it to me, which I love in a blend.
It was definitely cedar. I'm definitely getting a big blast of caramel.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the tobacco tastes like it has age on it too. It's very refined. To me, there's no kind of like harshness whatsoever to it.
None,
right?
not at all.
Even like bringing it through a retrohale, which I first did when I first lit it, there's definitely like a refinement to it. It's like, it's silky.
It's almost, I was going to say velvety.
It is velvety, and that's to me, it's a testament to probably the age of the tobacco, obviously proper processing.
Right.
The fermentation process, the aging process. So I think it's definitely a home run, when it comes to a special release from Oliva.
Yeah.
By the way, we're enjoying a little spirits today, so we would like to tell you what we're having. It's not necessarily a pairing video. We got to actually choose our own today. So what are you drinking there, Steve?
I'm drinking bourbon.
Drink a little bourbon?
I'm drinking a little Russell's.
Russell's. We love Russell's. By the way, we got a lot of good feedback when we featured Russell's. I know a lot of fans out there.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking a little Compass Box Spaniard.
Ooh.
Remember we did a video with that a little while ago?
Yeah.
I love it, but very, very well balanced. Kind of like it's spicy and it's sweet at the same time. I kind of like that balance between the two elements in that spirit. But to me, I went with Scotch. You went with bourbon, just to show you the versatility of the blend too.
Yep.
You could actually do either one or whatever your favorite spirit might be.
Sure.
So, Fox, what do you think as far as how the blend is evolving to you? Like, is it? We talked about some tasting notes. Is it getting stronger to you?
It did get a little stronger.
Yeah.
It definitely got a little stronger.
So it picked up now. So for me, it's turned the corner on medium. It's at medium plus right now. The flavors are getting a little bit more intense,
I'm definitely getting that spice through the nose.
But it's very subtle.
Very subtle, but you called it cinnamon. I'm getting a lot of cinnamon, caramel, and like cedar.
That's
Maybe
good.
a little nuttiness.
Yeah. But it's funny you said like caramel. And I just now, and I don't know again if it's like the Scotch at play with my palate, but I'm getting more of that kind of caramel note, brown sugar note that I'm getting now as I'm smoking the cigar.
And I can see where you're getting the aromatic flavor from. It's definitely aromatic to tobacco.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, it's less kind of like just the original blends of both the Serie V and the Melanio are more pungent.
Yeah.
Right? This is a very aromatic tobacco.
I mean, it's definitely a nice complex cigar. The flavors are, changing as I go.
Right. You know, when it comes to like sizes, 5.5 by 60, very popular sizes these days. So I could see why Oliva decided to come out with, this limited edition in that size, because the bigger ring gauges are here to stay.
They are.
Right?
I mean, they're very popular.
Yeah.
We see it all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something I have to say. Like years ago, when that trend first started, I thought maybe it would be more of a fad. You know what I mean? I thought it would be like it would come into the industry, but not really take hold per se. And at some point, I was like, it's got to stop as far as the sizes.
Dude, the bigger the better.
I know, and
crazy.
I'm sure there's a lot of subscribers out there right now. They're like 60s, nothing. I smoke a 70. I smoke
There's
an
80s.
80. Right. But it's fun to experiment. So if you're out there and you've never tried a cigar in a 60 ring gauge like we're smoking today, I advocate you try it, because you don't know until you try it. I'm not saying it's going to be your everyday go-to from a format perspective, but as a cigar smoker, you kind of owe it to yourself to try it in that size, just to see how it hits the palate. By the way, I have a question for you. Earlier you stated that you thought that cigar was kind of a cross between the Serie V original and the Melanio series, just from the way it was hitting your palate.
Right.
Has that assessment changed, or you still think it holds true to where you're at in the cigar now?
I mean, I think it definitely holds true to where I'm at.
By the way, I agree with you.
But we said it was more medium. I think the cigar definitely transitioned medium to full.
It went up a tick.
It definitely went up a tick.
Yeah, I definitely think it got stronger as we smoked it. The flavors got a little bit more intense, but it still has a very aromatic, approachable profile to it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you kind of nailed it. For people out there that are wondering what this kind of tastes like, if you're a fan of the original Serie V and a fan of the Melanio series, this is a cigar you definitely want to try. And as I said, don't be afraid to jump into that 60 ring gauge. And enjoy it. Sit back, maybe you drink like us, right?
Yep.
And the cigar's going to last you a long while. You get a chance to savor it.
Yep.
And share with your friends.
Absolutely.
Right? You got friends like us you want to share.
Yep.
Listen, we come over, we need you to share.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Share some spirits with your friends, share some cigars, maybe some good conversations, right?
Some good stories, yeah.
Some good stories. You got a bunch of good stories. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that,
We'll get
yeah.
into it another time. But listen, we want to thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. But before we depart, make sure you hit that like button.
Smash the subscribe button,
And we'll see you here next time. Salud, my boy.
Yeah, it was a good pairing. I mean, this pairs well with bourbon. I got to try it with scotch though.
Here,
Next time.
try it.
No, I'll try
Try
it
it.
next. I'll try it next time.
Try it already.
All right, I'll
Try
try
it.
already. I'll try it already.
Come on. Can't say no. Why are you drinking all my booze?
By the way, that compass box is good.
You forgot how good it is.
I forgot how good that was.
Right? Sweet, spicy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it really complements the cigar.
I could see how.
It
Yeah.
really does. As we're sitting there and we're talking, and you're talking about the flavor notes, and sometimes we talk about, sometimes the spirit will coax something out of there, and I wasn't tasting that kind of, that what you said, caramel. I wasn't really getting
Yeah.
that caramel. I started sipping on that scotch, and